But like I was saying, the marionette to me, I think, is a doll or a puppet that was hand knitted because, you know, back in those days, not a lot of people knew, a lot of different techniques like we do now how to create things. So that's why when somebody says, well, why do you think the marionette needs knitted, I guess, arm warmers and leg warmers? Well, that's just my preference. And when I see the marionette, I see him or her in a full black suit, like almost pleatherish. And then he has the knit arms, has the arms and leg warmers knitted. And then, of course, the mask is made out of, a foam play, one of those play mats that you find, at Toys R Us or something. So, to me, true, they are very much. I've actually made one already. Actually, I'll go get that one. I see you, Batman. Anyway, if you see a brown butt over here to my right, that's my dog being lazy. Okay, so this here frame. This here is already a pre-made one. I already made this one. This one took me about 2 days. Only because I had other things doing. I was doing other things. But, this one here, as you can tell, it looks a little funky. Because I wanted to show people difference in sizes of, this here is about 25 to 30 cast-ons. And then from here to here, is from anywhere from 40 to 65 cast-ons, 65 being way up here. Now, it's kind of difficult to say, but when you actually sit here, now these are the little strings that I was talking about that you wanted to save, because this here you're going to actually tie on the other end, like so, and the smaller your arm, the more you're going to pull, and the best thing about knitting is that it can stretch. See? It can literally stretch and keep its form. See? It can still keep its form. So like the wrist here, see? It would definitely keep it. See? So this is pretty much one arm. I might use it. Or I might just make a whole new one. I haven't quite figured it out. But this here is one arm. And that's actually the underside. This is the under where you won't even see it. This is what you would see here. This is the side that you would see. So, this here, as you can tell, once it's on my arm, oh, thank you. This here, as you can tell, when it gets tied and put together, these strings, you can go ahead. I wish I can do it myself right now, but I actually need my boyfriend's help because, well, one, in order to tie these, you need to tie them together and you need 2 hands because you have to make sure it's tight enough, also able to move. But this is what I was talking about. Even though it's way big up here, it doesn't really matter. So the simple fact is you're going to be bending your arm a lot. You're going to be bending your arm a ton. So it's always good to make it big so it's, capable of going with your movement. So this is the beginning of one of my warmers. And I also wanted to point out that if you look in the marionette, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 black. And it's, to me, it's just all, exactly, it won't cut off your circulation because it gets really tight. Now, it possibly might cut off your circulation down here if you do less than, this is actually, if I remember, I think this is 25 to 30 cast on. I mean, I can count it. Let's see, I have, okay, so this is about 30. And then when I got to my third white, as you can tell, that's when I added more to it. Now, you definitely don't want it cutting off your circulation. You really don't want to cut it off. Because if you cut off your circulation, I'm planning on being in this costume probably all day. And I'm a ballerina for about 15 years. I've been a ballerina. I haven't been a ballerina since high school. So, yeah. When I see the marionette, and if you look at the marionette, you can clearly see that they are somewhat on, to me, he or she, it's almost as if the marionette is on point, like on her tippy or his tippy toes. So, the way I see it is the marionette is using point shoes. So, I want to go ahead and try and practice being on point again. So in that way, whenever somebody is wanting to take, you know, whenever somebody wants to take a picture at a convention, I can sit there and go on point, and be completely as if I'm standing, I guess you can say, on strings, and I'm being dangled. But, so yeah, this is what one arm warmer looks like. Now for the leg warmer, it would be a lot more cast-ons. Only reason and only because a lot of movement. You're going to be sitting down, walking. In my case, I'll be standing on point shoes. So I don't want to have it too tight to where I am going to hurt myself. So, you want to make sure that you are very comfortable. But the best thing about knitting is that it's stretchable and it bounces. That's another reason why when somebody asks me, why don't you just put it, you know, why don't you just use felt and whatnot? Because felt doesn't stretch. Using felt doesn't create the elastic feeling that you need whenever you're walking or bending with your legs. So that's another reason why I wanted to knit, because literally I can stretch this out to what I need and it will still cover what I need. So that's one. But anyway, want to definitely make sure that when you do your cosplays, you always want to make sure that you are as comfortable and accurate as possible to your liking. It does. Also, to tell you the truth, knitting is also a calming is a calming remedy. So you can get very stressed out during the day. I mean, everywhere from your, like, your kids are jumping all over the place and they're not listening to you, or your husband or girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other is pissing you off really bad. You go off to your little corner and knit, and you can relax because you're all, I can teach you right now if you like. I can show you a little bit of how to do it, and I can give you a link to my friend who showed me. She knits, and it's going to be kind of hard because she personally showed me because she's a localist. But I can show you a YouTube video that that sometimes I refer back to. But I can definitely show you how to. If you ever want to do one, just, shoot me a message and I can do a tutorial Tuesday, and you can always come back and you can sit down and I'll show you, and I'll teach you. It's very easy. I'm also not a fast knitter. I am a fast knitter. Let me rephrase that. I'm a very fast knitter once I get into the groove. But I'm a very slow knitter when I need to relearn or something. My grandmother was the very first person who taught me how to knit, and then my senpai, she is a wonderful friend of mine, and she is amazing at what she does. And she's the one who, if I need blueprints she hand knitted her Renoa. I don't know if you know who Renoa is. She hand knitted Renoa Renoa cosplay. She hand knitted it herself. She made the blueprints for the knit and everything. It was amazing. I was dumbfounded. I was like, wow, I'm actually gonna get her Renoa's blueprints from her so I can make it. But yeah, if you go to her page, you'll see all sorts of pictures of her knitted Renoa. She's actually working on another knitted project for a cosplay. But it takes her a bit. But if you ever want to go slow, and I can do a one-on-one teaching with you if you like, and we can do a tutorial Tuesday for it. Whenever you get your needles and knitting yarn. Best thing about a live knitting session is that I can stop and ask you questions and see how you are doing, and you can send me pictures to see how you're doing, and if you have any questions. So yeah, just also my Facebook link and everything else is down below, and that way you can see how to contact me whenever you want to actually do that. Sure. There are a difference between knitting and crochet. Just to let you know, I don't crochet. I prefer knitting. I will suggest to you a size 7 or bigger needles. These here that I'm doing are size 2. That's only because if you look at the finished product, they look very close together, and you don't have to sit there. You know, you don't see holes and gaps between the stitches because this is a size 2. The bigger the needle, the more spacious and the more gaps you will see. And since if you look at the marionette, you will see that it looks, you know, very tight and very organized and very almost continuous, going from white to black. So the smaller your needle, the more difficult it is, because the easier your needle will slip and fall and you will drop a stitch. So, always want to make sure you push your work down so you have room. Also, another theory that I have, if you are wanting to hear it, but it is, isn't it? These are all fan, and there's a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's songs, but this is called 58 Songs of Five Nights at Freddy's, and so they're all songs from Five Nights at Freddy's. And just 1 second, let me just finish this row and I'll give you the link. Why, thank you. Oops. Now that is called dropping a stitch. If you see that right there, I just dropped 2 stitches, which is a very, very difficult trying to pick up. The best thing to do is relax and calm down, because everybody drops stitches, trust me. I drop stitches on a daily. So all you gotta do is to get them back, and you will see that there are holes, of course, where your stitches are. You just put your needle back through the holes, and there you go. That's why I'm saying the smaller your needle, the more difficult it is. So and when you drop a stitch, and I'll show you, it will have, see if I can see this. When you drop a stitch, it will look something like that. You see that nice big hole there? I dropped a stitch there. But adding a stitch is quite easy. It's very simple. And I'll show you, whenever you want to know, I'll show you how to do that. But yeah, that's dropping a stitch. Bad, very bad. But the playlist that I'm listening to is from Volkill Pandora. And this is the link. These are the 58 songs that I'm listening to. It's about a 3.5. It's about a 3.5 playlist. Some songs are repeated, but different at different speeds. So. No problem. Hold on, guys. I gotta go get some coffee, so hold on. Alright, now, which one of you guys would like to see a sneak peek of the materials that I might be using for my mask? Now, if you guys don't know what the mask looks like, the mask is the clown-looking face that's up there. And I'm actually using certain materials because, like I said, when I think of the marionette, I think of back in the 80s. So, but who would like to see a sneak peek of my materials for the mask? Okay, sure. Alright, looks like majority of the rules. Alright, let me go show you the materials that I'll be using for my mask. Alright guys, don't mind me. I'm in my PJs because it is one of my off days. But these are the materials, well, besides the hot glue gun, the heat gun, obviously. But these are the materials that I would be using for the marionette's mask. Now, the mask to me should definitely cover your face. So I'm using one of these, I guess you can say, these foam mats, which I have to thank Envy's Heart Cosplay. She let me have it after our little cosplay armor tutorial cosplay class. So what I have here is the beginning of the marionettes. This is pretty much going to be the basis of the mask, and it's just a regular, it's just like one of those regular mats that you see at, like, you know, it's the puzzle pieces. So pretty much what you would do is draw the marionette's face. After you're done drawing the marionette's face, you make sure you have those little details like the marionette, because she or he has those nice little round cheekbones. So you make sure that you get all that you need. But I would recommend using, now this here I know it's kind of small, but I would recommend using regular foam sheets, and I'm talking about the little foam creativity sheets to use for your outline. Then once you draw your mask on this sheet here, you cut it out, cut out the holes for your eyes and for the mouth, and then you trace it onto the actual foam piece itself. Then, because this is great for heating, you can then go ahead and, my camera's kind of going in and out. Come on now. There we go. Once you go ahead and you cut it out, you go ahead and, why are you still being so crazy? Come on, focus. There you go. Once you go ahead and you cut this out, you make sure that you cut out the holes. And you cover your face. You literally make sure that it fits your actual face, because I am going to be using elastic to go around my head, you know, like a regular mask, you know, you find at the Halloween stores. And then after you do something, you know, after you put the elastic over your head, you use your access sheets that you have. Use your access sheet that you have and cut out, for me, I would cut it out. I would cut out the little rosy cheeks and the little lines that go above her, or his mouth and below his mouth. And then I would also cut, using the extra sheet, I would cut out the crying tears. Then I would glue that onto the mask. Of course, I will definitely, yes, yes, Johnny, I will definitely, you can always chat in the, group chat. You don't have to personally message me, Johnny. But yes, I will then go ahead and glue that onto the foam mask that I have cut out. And once that is done, glue it on, let it sit for about an hour, let it dry. And then I use the Warbler, which my friend Peachy Panda, and I will give you guys all the links for it below. Use the Warbler and go over it. That way, when you do it, if you look at my Cosplay Creations armor, yes, there are others watching. Some of them like to private message me, and they're kind of, which is kind of idiotic because I like everybody to talk to everybody. That way I'm not trying to tell somebody who can't see their personal message, tell what they said and stuff. But yeah, I have about 4 people watching, but only 2 of them are registered with Twitch. That's you, Angel, and Johnny. And then the other 3 are, I guess, it says anonymous, so. But yeah, the reason why I want to use this for the cheeks and the mouth pieces and the crying is because it'll give it more depth into the mask. Because if you look at the mask and you look very closely, which I will bring up a close picture of the mask, you can tell that they are a little bit more they're a little bit more depth. If you see it, it's they have depth to them. Almost, you know, almost like this size to the mask. So then that way, once I put Warbler over it, it will bubble, it will not really bubble out, but it'll give that more depth to it. That way, it's not just a painted on mask. It's actually, to me, the mask looks like a porcelain face. And I'm actually gonna be using, if you guys ever seen, if anybody has ever seen Nolan's masks have that nice smooth porcelain look. That's what I see the marionette. If you see the face, if you see that mask right there that I have up here on the right hand side over here, you'll see that it's really shiny. So to me, it looks almost porcelain. So porcelain masks, if you've ever gotten one from Nolan's, which I have, my grandmother and my family from Italy have gone to New Orleans and have actually given me masks, but they have that depth. So then that way, when I use these small little pieces and I put the Warbler over it, I can sand the Warbler nice, get it down to like a nice smooth texture, and then I can prime it first, obviously, and then paint over it. Then once that's done, I can give it a little bit of a shine with almost, I guess a paint sealant to give that porcelain look. And then of course I'll baby it, and I'll baby sand it to give it that polished look to make it porcelain. That way it looks like a porcelain marionette doll. Which back in the day when I was when I was growing up, getting a porcelain doll was everything a little girl can want. And I've only had 5 of them in my entire life. So to me, that's what I see. So that's what I'm going to try and make my mask is look almost porcelain-like. Once that's done, the marionette will be done. Because I already have the black suits, and I already, I actually used kind of, I already used this kind of material for the buttons for the buttons of the marionette. I'm just finishing up the knitting, and I wanted to keep mask for last because that's going to be a whole tutorial Tuesday again. So just gotta get the rest of the materials. I'm trying to beg my grandmother to give me my porcelain masks from her house because, you know, after you move out, you know, parents and grandparents want to keep everything. So once I get all that from her, I can use that and I can do the marionette. I can do the marionette face and do a tutorial for that. But, so I definitely want to make sure that the porcelain look turns out good, because I don't know if anybody has seen any of my Facebook pictures or any of my cosplays. I try and make it as realistic as possible. I did a Katniss Everdeen, and I made that girl, that poor girl, I made her look like she had just got out of that. Like she just got out of the arena. She had blood coming down and everything. I mean, she looked pretty beat up. So, anyway, we're gonna go back to knitting. I'm actually on, if you can't really see it, it's so dark, but I'm actually on my second row for my black. So. But I'm going to end the video here, and I hope you guys stay tuned for more of the marionette cosplay, alright? I guys love you, and I will see you later. This is Cosplay Mom. Bye! Love you guys.